All right, good evening, Alpromnia. Bishop here. So here we go. 6 Warrior Quest Area 6. I hope that if you're watching this, you don't get motion sickness, because there's going to be a lot of flipping and flopping, because this took me a lot longer than I anticipated it was, because I'm flipping people in and out of here. So I need to run this thing at about 2 times speed, and I even up, things didn't come out as clean as I wanted. All right, so the first thing that didn't come out clean is you see A here is actually in between Aerith and Cor. That one little turn is going to kind of screw me up a little bit at the with the first force time, but it's going to be okay. The idea, what I was doing here is I want to delay the absolute heck out of these guys, so that I can keep them from getting debuffs, and it's so I am limiting the turns they get during force time. So that's why you saw Reigns had a cloud call to push him back. Aerith had Ramza to push him back. All right, so I charged the gauge here once. Now I'm going to seal evil so that this way they can't inflict buffs, which later in this fight is going to I'm going to completely forget about that because I'm a moron. All right, so that's why I got Cor here with Cypher. We're going to get an even longer delay with what we got. As you can see here, I'm bouncing people in and out. So Yuffie's coming in. She's got Quistis. I'm not so much worried about delaying B here. I'm more worried about delaying A. So that's why I gave them both a delay and then pushed A back. So like I said, that one turn's coming up. All right, so Yuffie gets her debuffs up. As you can saw, the attack failed. All right, we're back to Reigns. Now we're bringing in Quina. She and Cor are the big two. Cor is going to run this thing. Quina's going to be pretty well right behind it, because I'm actually going a little bit more off turn here with this. So as you can see, I'm finally getting Cor in, which is why I'm jumping, I'm pairing it up with Quina. And so he's going to be ready to go here. And as you can see, I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't go into force time, which is why I did the healing wind here, because I knew they weren't going to be able to push Aerith back. So that's why I went ahead and hit the EX here, knowing she's going to get pushed back, and then Quinn is going to get set up here for what I want. So Quinn is going into burst, and I know the first thing you may be saying to yourself is, I had a Seymour buff, why didn't I use that to delay? When you get the Seymour buff on there, it actually makes it harder, or the debuff makes it harder to keep those slots open for 6 unframed debuffs for that. So that's why I left Seymour off for now. I'm going to have him and use him a little bit later. So right now I'm kind of breaking them as I can. So we go with the EX and I get the LD, because that trap is going to be useful for force time. So that's what I've got, that one up there. And I'm just kind of, I'll admit, I go back and forth. It really didn't matter here, since there's no bonus with this, whether to use EAT or the FR. So I just went ahead and got the EAT out of the way and used the FR. So you can see we're getting set up here, and we're going to be ready to go. So Quina's BT effect is going to be up. As you can see, should be about, I'm going to say 85% on the gauge after this, and you'll be able to see where I'm talking about with the turn from A as to where that's coming from here. All right, so 80, as you see, we go up to about 85 and a half. All right, so I'm going to actually just get Quina back on there. All right, so there goes Cor, and here's where the kick's going to come in. If A had been one turn further back, which is in a lot of other times I've run this where I screw something up and have to restart, he would be behind Cor, and I would be able to get a break and get what I want. So, but right now, okay, so he gets the first one. He doesn't take a big one. So yeah, I have to eat the HP one there. But I'm able to move back, and as you can see here, this is where I'm looking to go for what I want here. So we're going to have Cor. He's going to get pushed back once this is over. I got force time on. All right, Cor goes back. Aerith's up next, which is what I'm looking for. Here comes Yuffie. Now, I got one copy of these on the freebie. So that's why I was not rushing to try to beat these guys and kind of no-turn stuff and try to get going here with everything I got. So there's Aerith. Yuffie comes in, cancels their force time. I don't got to worry about the HP attack again, or the HP heal, which was the only thing I was really worried about here. At this point, it's just blow everything up with what I got. So as you can see, I got heat running. I got Cor's debuff going. I got Cor's buff and the protection that he's going to be able to put in. And then I get a lucky one right there. So as you can see, I'm kind of pushing him back. As you see, I'm jumping around here. This is where I said we're going to be rolling around here a whole lot. So here comes Reigns with his Echo. We're going to get Yuffie out of there because she's basically served her purpose now. All right, Yuffie's back up. We still got 10 turns. We're going to get Aerith back in. So we'll get the one here. And here's where I'm kind of getting ready to tank some stuff, I should say. So I go ahead and hit her BT effect here. So I had a plan. It didn't work out quite like I wanted, but so far everything's coming out clean with what I was hoping to get here with this. All right, Cor coming back up, and I debated at this point whether or not to use his BT effect, but I decided, hey, let me wait, because I knew this thing was going to take about 35 to 40 turns. I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to, or how many more turns I was going to be able to kind of keep Cor's BT effect up, and I wanted it more for the back end than the front end here with everything that we're going to have. All right, so here's the fun part. There's the 79. All right, here comes heat. Now, as you can see, thankfully, Aerith's got her little gold frame buff on. Can't break that. Now, here comes Yuri, and here was the thing I was looking for, the EX. Yuri's EX does a beautiful job, full gravity attack, and then does some brave hits, so that'll help calm this guy down. And then we've got Yuffie in there, and as you can realize, here we go. Okay, I'm going to get Quina back in, because like I said, her BT effect is what I was looking to use to run this whole thing. Now I am going to end up having to bring, end up bringing him around. Get a nice little attack here with the dispel, which is a nice part with Yuri. So you're going to get rid of that, I forgot what the name of it is, ring holy maybe, with that. So I couldn't remember here if I wanted to flip Cor out or not, because at that point I couldn't remember. I was like, wait a minute, I think I got everybody's, at that point had everybody's echoes up. As you can see, I'm waiting, and I'm going to use their echoes twice. That's going to be the goal for what I'm looking to work for. All right, so Aerith comes back in, because again, this is where I want to make sure I've got, because I didn't have Yuri's debuff up, or Yuri's BT effect up, so I want to make sure I had protection. So that's where, Aerith's debuff, or Aerith's buff, well, I'm all over the place here today. Aerith's buff's great for this. As you can see, I'm flipping Yuffie back in, making sure that these guys have the 10 debuffs, because they cleansed them out, and just making sure, because I couldn't remember at this point, because I'd probably done these about 4 or 5 times, if they were going to be able to attack again once they hit a threshold. All right, now here's where I screwed up. What I wanted to do was get Yuri in here. Here's why, for that right there, for the cancel. Now, thankfully, they can't cancel Aerith's gold frame buff. Wanted Yuri in here. I wanted to use his BT effect. Once I realized I screwed it up, I was like, let me just let it go. Let me throw let me just get that extra little attack on there, because I'm still good here. Aerith still got 2. And as you can see, I'm getting ready to go Fury brand here. So this is where it ges messy. Like I said, I hope you've got a beautiful I hope you have some Dramamine for this, because I'm all over the place. As you can see, thankfully for Aerith, she's saving everything here. So here we go with brothers. One more big attack here. I said if I had been smart, I get Yuri on the, I would have gotten Yuri on the BT effect and held off on his FR until the second time he came up. All right, so we're getting that in. So I was trying to get as many, since that's the one nice thing with Yuri, I went ahead and greened him because he has so many HP dumps. And thankfully we're going to be able to get some good damage here for that last attack. All right, so now I got Cor up. You get Yuffie in one more time because, like I said, I know for a fact that we're going to run into issues later on with the gauge. I know we're going to run into where I screwed up was coming up here. Now, my point here right now with Aerith is to charge the heck out of the gauge. Coming up, so you see that for a bunch of turns here. Gets me up pretty good because I want to get as much time as I can, because with Yuffie only having one use of her FR, I do not want these guys getting one more. And I want to make sure I get Prayer, etc. up to get some of the other buffs that I had. So as you can see, here comes Yuffie out, Cor coming back in. I'm at about 67%, boss is at 10, kind of playing the odds. Okay, where do I want to go? I'm also watching turn order here to make sure if I need to bring reins, whether or not I'm going to be okay. But I do want to get Quina in, because like I said, she's going to be the big one here that I'm looking at. Now like I said, not having everything back up and clean was where I screwed up with Yuri. All right, so here finally comes Yuri. So we're getting the misses in here because this is where I got to make sure I'm getting my protection in case something happens, since now I got Aerith with no gold buff anymore. All right, there's the one. So I got Quina back in. Here comes Yuffie again to make sure I got rid of those buffs, because I don't know how many turns they got. As you can see right there, they went over the 70 threshold. So it was a good thing I got them in right when I did, or I might have eaten a nasty attack. Although I did have Yuri's effect up, so that probably would have mitigated it, but I can't remember if the 70% attack is a guaranteed hit or not. All right, as you can see, I got to my force time. They got close, but I got my force time in. So now we're getting ready to get going. Like I said, here comes the roller coaster again. All right, Yuffie, you're out of here. Aerith coming in. She's going to echo here. And thankfully, since we can't get delayed, that's one going to be there. Here comes rain so that I can start pulling people ahead. I was trying to figure out, do I want to pull in Yuri if I wanted to pull up Reigns or pull up Cor. So thankfully we're going to get some pretty good damage here as we keep increasing the gauge. That was why I started off with his BT effect. All right, Yuri up. That's why I'm going to bring Quina in, because I know I got enough turns. Oh, look, there's the Seymour call. Give me a little bit more room here. And Seymour's going to do a nice job getting some extra damage here. Don't get much on the gauge, but I'll survive, because here comes another FR. Here comes that echo. So we'll be about 9 turns. We're getting a little bit of room here, which is what I'm looking for. So as you can see, I'm starting to get even a bigger... I was always focused on the toad. As you can see, I'm starting to get a really big... movement here on that. Okay, so now I finally get smart enough to get Cor's BT effect up, so I'll be able to get some bonus out of that. All right, Rain's coming up. I'm going to flip him for Yuri. So we've used air. Basically, this is going to be the last of the echoes that I'm going to have. So we'll get that. Ring Holy's going to be at 2, which isn't bad. All right, now I need to get, I'm debating whether or not to use, at that point it was either LD or BT effects. Like, let's make sure I got the BT effect up. Because sometimes you start getting into another situation where it's like, oh, I had a plan, I had one, I can't use it. So I went ahead, let me do it now. Not a big fan of what I had to do here because I wanted to have as many turns as possible for this. You can see, oh, we're fixing to get smoked with a good one here. So I brought in Reigns again. And I went ahead and pulled Yuri behind him. And I went after A just because I went after A. As you can see, we're going to get a bunch of damage here. Because Reigns is going to beat him up pretty good. As you can see, I'm way off now. We're like 30. Here's where I wanted Yuri. So we get the EX. Again, the 100% gravity. Very useful here. So actually at this point, I'm gonna really kind of just focus here on the curl. All right, so as you can see, I'm flipping, getting Cor back in because I wanted to be able to get him on Yuri because these guys are gonna attack Yuri. And Quina should still have her Cor buff. As you can see here, I'm gonna flip Quina in for Reigns. Now we'll get the LD buff back up, which will be useful because you can see A and B are getting a turn right behind it. And that's the Toad. B takes a rough one. He takes a hit there. Takes one from Cor. All right, so now we got a lot of room. Ring Holy is up. So we're gonna hit the blast to clear it out. Get the big attack here. And then we'll hit one more. We'll hit him with an LD just to clean this up. And as you can see, 39, not great. It wasn't a perfect run, but again, the Bishop special, pretty much a safe run, which is what I usually go for to make sure that I'm alive. All right, so there's the party screen. Yeah, both sets there. As you can see, so hey, if this was helpful, I know it was a long one, so thanks if you sat through it. Please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it, especially now that I'm jumping back into it. Hopefully I can get a few more people. I appreciate you watching. Take care. Bye-bye.